Mission Association covering right-of-way projects. I'm passionate about what DMEA can do to bring about economic growth, and I'm fiscally conservative. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Richard Harding, and I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for facilitating this forum tonight. I'd like to introduce you to my wife, Deborah, if you'd raise your hand, please. If any of you go to Delta Hospital in the radiology department, that's where you'll find her. I've been involved in Delta County for quite a number of years. I used to have a real estate license, and I worked with the Coffee Realty. We did some subdivisions up in the Delta area. I was also the president of Painted Sky and worked on the ground floor of the project to do the vented air methane at the Oxbow line, which was a very interesting project in renewable energy. I qualified to sit for the CPA exam in 1977 and chose not to do it. I did, however, sit for the NASD security dealer's license and passed that successfully. I have a very diverse background in finance, and I'm not a native of Colorado, but I got here just as soon as I could. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the audience? Anybody have anything written that we can collect at this time? Okay, I've got a couple. We had a forum on Tuesday in Montrose, so some of the questions will be familiar to the candidates. The first question that will be handled first by Richard, and we'll go down the line, is what is your opinion of DMEA breaking away from Tri-State and producing its own power?
Well, I'm not a candidate or a person that's going to advocate breaking a contract. I believe contracts are legally binding. However, since Tri-State is actually owned by 40-some cooperatives, I think we should be able to work with those other cooperatives to get a more lucrative situation to where we can produce more than 5% of our own power. Another thing that's come up is the subject of the 20% renewable in the state of Colorado. And if you look at the Tri-State's website, they're currently selling to DMEA 24% of our power is generated from renewable resources. The unfortunate side is what is considered renewable resources to Tri-State and what is considered renewable resources to the state of Colorado are two different things. Thank you.
I think what we're going to have to do is wait for the FERC ruling and see kind of where that ends up to see where the ball lands on this. There are also some other court cases taking place at the moment that might set a new precedent that might allow for us to create more than 5%. I'd love if we created more than 5% of our own power. But like Richard mentioned, we are in a contract, so for this until 2040, we are at the will of that contract unless some of these things like FERC and some new cases come along and allow us to create more of our own energy. And while I'm at it, I think I should probably mention that I'm a 6th or 7th Colorado native. I think that we're all keeping count, so thank you.
Okay, Mandy.
Yes, the contract with Tri-State, I mean, it is a firm contract. I think what we should probably really be paying attention to is the FERC ruling, just to see how that comes out, because if it's in DMEA's favor, that's going to open the door for Montrose and Delta counties to possibly be building quite a few more hydroelectric plants. So I would want to wait to see what happens with that. I think we have an aggressive board who definitely wants to try to find some different ways of, kind of breaking free from Tri-State. But as far as the contract goes, for now we're stuck in it with them. So I think what we need to do is diligently watch our Tri-State director and make sure that individual is making smart business decisions at those meetings.
Tammy?
The idea of breaking away from Tri-State might daunt some people, but you know, Delta Montrose Electric is just one of 43 rural electric co-ops that purchases power from Tri-State. Over half of them are from Colorado. 22 companies that are owned by the members, just like you, are in the same situation. Anything that we do is going to benefit the whole. And our efforts in the FERC ruling, before and after that comes back, is going to be the best thing for this community and for the people that use electricity in the state of Colorado.
Next question, we'll start with Kyle on this. What role should DMEA play in expanding broadband in Delta and Montrose counties?
I think that we ought to take a practical role, and if it makes sense and it's going to make money and not lose the association a bunch of money, and it provides a great service to the people that is definitely needed, then we should move forward with it. It's one of those things that as we move through time, we never thought that we would need. You know, and back in the day, a landline was great, but then we needed a second landline to run our internet connection. Nowadays, we'd be better off if we had a broadband connection in some of the rural parts of our county that we don't have it. So I really think that moving forward with broadband could be a really good thing for this association if it were to make sense and it works for everybody. Thanks.
Mandy?
I definitely think that broadband is extremely important, especially here in Delta County. It definitely has to make economic sense, but from what I've researched, it sounds like there's a really good chance that this thing could bring a lot of revenue to DMEA. But I think we need to wait and see what the business plan comes back to show. I believe there's a study being done that will be presented to the board here soon, and I think that'll be very telling. There may be things in there that come to light that maybe people haven't thought of yet, but I'm hoping it will give kind of a clear path to what we need to be doing, and then I hope that we can move quickly on that.
Tammy?
The members of Delta Montrose Electric Association have already said they want broadband. Over 50% of them said we want broadband. And the fact that the question came up tonight and Tuesday night indicates the same. Our efforts have been ongoing to bring this type of infrastructure to this area. How many of you remember having DMEA.net as an internet service provider? That attests why we need to carry forward. We've already been developing the infrastructure for our communication system on our power lines and providing the services to key businesses and school districts in the area. And we need to continue on that same path, providing reliable, sustainable utilities to our communities.
Okay, Richard?
Broadband is something that is going to drive economic development, which some people think that's a bad word and some people think it's good. But what DMEA is talking about is working with other organizations to facilitate what's called the last mile. The lines, for the most part, are already in the ground. It's connecting them up to the mechanics and the electronics that actually make that work that we're talking about. Once you get that last mile in place, then you can have private providers who will contract with DMEA or Region 10 or whomever to provide those individual services to residences and businesses. But yes, it's something that we need, and DMEA is in a position in this area to facilitate it. Thank you.
Okay, next we'll start with Mandy. What does a member-owned cooperative mean to you?
A member-owned cooperative means that we are looking out for the members. It's not in our best interest to just try to make a huge profit. I think we are here to support the members in any way that we can. And with that, I mean, it's kind of endless. Definitely trying to keep rates reasonable. There's other avenues that we could go down, such as advising members on how they can do like a solar rooftop mount on their home. But to me, really, it's a little bit different than your normal business because us, the board of directors, are members, so we are all basically looking for the same thing. We want to get the most value out of DMEA for everybody that we can.
Our member-owned cooperative has been in business since 1938. And we're lucky that the people